Our planet Earth is an ever-changing world. Beneath our feet, massive tectonic plates are constantly shifting. These movements are responsible for earthquakes, volcanoes, and the formation of continents and oceans. One of the most dramatic examples of this ongoing process is happening right now in Africa. The East African Rift System, or ERS for short, is a giant crack in the Earth's crust. The rift stretches over 3,000 kilometers. That's like driving from New York City to Los Angeles. It starts in the north at the Afar Triangle in Ethiopia. It then extends southward through Kenya, Tanzania, and Mozambique. Along this rift, the Earth's crust is being pulled apart very slowly. The East African Rift is a spectacular sight. Imagine a landscape of towering volcanoes, deep valleys, and vast savannas. This region is a hotbed of geological activity. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are common occurrences. The rift is still forming and growing. Scientists estimate that it is widening at a rate of a few millimeters per year. While this may seem slow, over millions of years, it will have a profound impact on the geography of Africa. The driving force behind the East African Rift is the movement of tectonic plates. The Earth's outer shell is divided into these plates, which fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. These plates float on the Earth's mantle, a layer of hot, molten rock. The East African Rift marks the boundary between two of these plates, the Nubian Plate and the Somali Plate. The Nubian Plate covers most of Africa. The Somali Plate is a smaller plate that includes the Horn of Africa. The Nubian and Somali plates are moving apart from each other. This separation is what is causing the rift to widen. As the plates diverge, magma rises up from the Earth's mantle to fill the gap. This magma cools and solidifies, creating new crust. The process of new crust formation is what is slowly splitting Africa apart. Over millions of years, this process will create a new ocean basin. The rift valleys will deepen and fill with water. Eventually, a new sea will separate East Africa from the rest of the continent. The East African Rift is not a unique phenomenon in Earth's history. In fact, it is very similar to how the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden were formed millions of years ago. These bodies of water were once rift valleys, just like the East African Rift. Over time, the rift valleys widened and deepened. Seawater eventually flooded in, creating the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. These geological wonders serve as a preview of what might become of the East African Rift in the distant future. The formation of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden had a profound impact on the evolution of life on Earth. These new bodies of water created barriers that separated populations of plants and animals. This isolation led to the evolution of new species. The East African Rift is a slow-motion event. It will take millions of years for a new ocean to form. However, even in the short term, the rift has significant impacts on the region. The movement of the Earth's crust along the rift causes frequent earthquakes. While most of these earthquakes are relatively minor, some can be quite destructive. The rift is also home to many volcanoes. Some of these volcanoes are still active today. Volcanic eruptions can pose a threat to nearby communities. However, they also enrich the soil, making the East African Rift a fertile region for agriculture. The future of the East African Rift is uncertain. Scientists predict that the rift will continue to widen. However, it is impossible to say for sure how fast this will happen. The East African Rift is a reminder that our planet is a dynamic and ever-changing place.